All right, so in this video, I want to go over why 90% of Facebook ads fail in the high-ticket coaching space and the different types of ads that you can use to fill your calendar with qualified sales calls every single day. So 4 things I want to cover throughout this video. First thing, number 1, is the decision that you need to make that is going to make or break every single ad campaign. So I'm going to show you exactly what to do so you always pick the right one. I'm going to give you copy and paste templates that have generated our companies millions of dollars in sales. You can just steal them. The third thing is our secret combo where you can actually use both of these at the exact same time that is going to double your results, which gives you the best of both worlds. And the last thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you some, I'm just going to come on here live and I'm going to put on the teleprompter and show you guys how I record these ads. And this is the exact same thing that I've done for the thousands upon thousands of ads that I've recorded that have generated millions of dollars. So we're going to go over a lot of stuff in this video. So what you can do is you can actually DM me the word 2 ads. So make sure that you do it like this, no spaces, 2 ads over on Instagram at Aaron Makes Content. And I will shoot you over a resource doc that's basically going to be I think of it as like a workbook for this entire video. I recommend that you do take some notes, but at the end of the day, if you're lazy like me sometimes, you can just have the document and it's going to give you the step-by-step for that. So before we jump too deep into the to the first part here, what I want to do, because there might be some of you that are like, why should I listen to this guy for the next 30 minutes about my advertising? Well, I've worked internally with Cole Gordon with his company Closers.io, and some of the other companies within the company that we've built, Remote Closing Academy, a couple other B2C type companies. And basically I've been in the face of a lot of these and recorded, like I said, thousands upon thousands of ads. I've also managed the creative team of multiple video editors that we bust out at this point. I mean, thousands of ad variations every single month. And there was a point where we were spending $45,000, almost $50,000 every single day on advertising, which meant we just needed to have thousands of new creative a week. So I've been around the block. I've done this a lot. I've seen a lot of ads. And because I've done a lot, I've been able to see what's worked and what doesn't. So with that being said, there's a little credibility to give you some little foreshadowing of what to expect. But here's the thing, right? There's going to be 2 main ways. Like, is there other ways on top of this? Yes. But like, in my opinion, there's 2 main ways to actually get someone's attention from the ad. You can either be direct, right? What you're going to do is literally say, someone's scrolling on Facebook and you're going to say, hey, ideal client, do you want this desired outcome? If so, this is what we can do for you, or you don't pay, right? You might have seen this or you don't pay angle. We actually created that back in 2021. Like, we were the first ones to like come out and say that. We didn't create guarantees, but now basically every single high ticket ad says something along those lines, like, or you don't pay, right? But that's a much more direct approach, right? You're just saying, hey, here's this thing that I can do for you. Or you could do something like creating curiosity, right? Or the other word that you'll hear actually down here, you'll see as well that I call this is, and you can be indirect, right? An indirect ad. So the way I want you to think about this is there's no necessarily like right or wrong way to do it. You just got to think of it as the right tool for the right job, right? Sometimes you need a hammer, right? In this case, it would be more of a direct ad. And sometimes you need a screwdriver, right? And we're going to talk about in which scenario you would use each of those as we go through this video. So to kind of bring this home, right? Both of them are going to work incredibly well, but most people, they use them at the wrong times for the wrong audiences, right? They have an audience mismatch. You might make a direct ad for a B2C audience or a indirect ad for a B2B ad, or for a B2B audience. That's kind of the general consensus. We're going to go deeper onto this. But just to drive this point home, it's like using a hammer when you need a screwdriver. The tool isn't bad. You're just using it for the wrong job, essentially. So let's cover kind of the differences between the 2. So we have the 2 different paths. We have direct versus indirect. So the way I want you to think about advertising is like fishing, right? There's going to be 2 different ways in this specific example to catch fish, right? Think of it, and I have a little drawing down here that ChatGPT made me to kind of help you understand this a little bit more. But think of direct fishing is like you have this big obnoxious like lure, right? If you look down here, you got this big lure that's going after these fish right here. And these fish, right, you're literally saying to them, hey, fish, here's this worm, here's this bait. Do you want that bait? Now, here's the thing. Is you are going to generate people, right? It's because it's straightforward, it's honest, it works really great when the people or the fish, right, they're already hungry, they already want that specific thing. It's going to work really, really great for that specific audience. Now, on the other side, right, indirect fishing is like creating curiosity, right? You're being indirect. You're not showing the worm, like you're not showing your hand, you're not showing the worm right away. Instead, you're creating ripples in the water, right? So this guy over here is, he's fishing over here and he's kind of showing the ripples. It's these fish, maybe you're going to come over here. They're going to be a little curious, but then, you kind of snatch them up at the last minute because they're like, oh shoot, that's not an actual worm. I'm biting on this, on this fishing pole. And now I have become dinner. So again, instead of you're creating more curiosity and they're like, like what's going on there? I need to go check this out, right? What's happening? So again, the way that you can think about this is if we're giving this exact example, right, is if I'm a B2B company, right, I'm just going to, in this specific example, I'm going to say, hey, so we're going to get you 10 clients in the next 30 days, right? It's very direct, very straight to the point, but maybe you're advertising the exact same thing is you would say, this one single shift doubled our pipeline. So as you can see, this is going to just be like smack someone in the face with it. Yo, here's the thing. I can literally have the exact same ad, just more an indirect approach, and I'm going to keep whatever that thing is hidden, right? This one shift doubled our pipeline. You're going to reel people in and then reveal it down the road. So again, we're going to give much more examples around this and hopefully it makes a lot more sense. So like we said before, right, I want to go over the one decision that makes or breaks every single ad so you can pick this the right way. So what I want to give you is just a very simple rule, right? Again, this isn't a catch-all, but this is just from what we found a pretty easy way to think about it. So if you're selling B2B, right, you're selling business to business, coaches, consultants, agencies, right? Let's say that's like the audience. You're selling coaches, consultants, agencies, or you're selling, to higher level companies, is you're usually going to start with a direct ad. The reason is because these people, right, they're already looking for solutions. Like we talked about over here, is these people are already, these fish, right? They're already hungry. They're already looking for fish. In this example is they're already looking for the solutions to their problems, right? They're like the hungry fish actively searching for the food. As opposed to over here, if you're selling to consumers, right? B2C, let's say it's fitness, relationship, personal development, right? Usually indirect is going to work better unless they're already looking for that thing. So again, the easiest way that you could even do too, and I talk about it down here in terms of testing both, is what we recommend to our clients is to always start with direct. Oops, I don't know what happened to my little pen there. Always start direct because it's going to allow you to initially, I don't know why my iPad's being annoying, but it's direct, but it's going to allow you to test at least that initial hypothesis. I'll tell you guys a story really quickly too around one of our, and I talk about it a little bit later too, but one of our B2C offers, right, Remote Closing Academy, I've talked about it in previous videos too, is remote closing, and this was back in 2022, is remote closing. If you don't know what it is, basically you become a high ticket closer and you sell into deals. Like you're watching this video, you probably know what I'm talking about. And we tried to do a direct angle with RCA where it's like, hey, you can make this, or do you want to become a high ticket closer, right? And what happened is at the time, and even to this day, like nobody wants to like wake up, and Cole talks about it all the time. It's like no one wakes up wanting to be a salesperson, right? So it's like we had to disguise it a little bit and say, hey, so this is the easiest way to make money in 2023 or 2022, right? Our easiest way to make money online. So it grabs attention through indirect, and it just naturally is going to work a little bit better. Another way you can think about it is like with B2C, with like fitness or relationships, like a lot of times people don't like want to admit that they need to lose weight, but you're going to attack them with a little bit more indirect hook. Same thing with relationships, right? Same thing with personal development. So just the way I would think about it, at least when you first start out, is always start with direct, get some initial testing out, but just understand that like, sometimes depending on how familiar the market is with your specific solution, you will probably 80% of the time, right, use direct for B2C or B2B and use indirect for B2B. Or I'm sorry, indirect for B2C. So little example here, right? B2B, this is what they're going to resonate with a lot more, right? Hey, so like schedule a demo, book a call with us. We're going to give you the proposal. We're going to show you exactly how we can help you versus right here. It's like, this is what I wish I knew before trying this specific solution, right? So it's, again, you can see much more secretive, curiosity driven. And we'll give some examples here at the end of different just the scripting and how to come up with that. Now, of course, I will end it with this, my marketing answer down here. I tell this to people all the time. It's like, Aaron, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? I'll always tell them like, hey, this is probably going to work. At the end of the day, we never know. Markets always change. Is always test both scenarios and just compare the data, right? The data doesn't lie. And when you can make decisions based on the data and not on logic or assumption, that's going to be the best winning thing. So to kind of bring this home here is think of it like this, right? A business owner is going to be Googling, hey, how do I get more sales, right? How do I make more money? How do I build my business? Versus someone that's scrolling on Facebook a lot of times they're not like, they don't get off of work and they're just like, oh, I really wish I could like lose some weight right now. No, it's like they're going to grab someone's attention, but it's like, hey, I use this specific thing to lose X amount of pounds, and it's actually not what you think it is, right? Much more direct, and it gets them a little bit more curious. So again, test both scenarios. Even if you think you know which one's going to work, write both versions, and it makes you a better copywriter overall. And again, you might be surprised by the results that you get. We've been surprised there again with RCA, right, the remote closing, is there were a couple of direct angles that did work. Again, 90% of them were the indirect, but you never know what's going to be working in the marketplace based on the specific time, based on so many different factors throughout the marketplace. So let's talk about the direct method, and this is literally just going to be, if we're talking about the scripts or the formulas to use, this is where I would write down notes if you didn't get the resource document earlier. Again, 2 ads, 1 word over on Instagram if you want that document. So here we go. So think of it this way, right? Writing a direct ad is like building a bridge. You need all these different pillars in order to do that, right? So you need to have the strong pillars to support it, and each pillar has a specific job. So this is literally the entire ad framework. So pillar number 1 is you literally call out the person that you're looking for. This is like, it's kind of been an ongoing joke, but literally at the very beginning, you just call out the person that you want to get in front of, right? For our example, hey, coaches and agencies. Hey, busy moms. Hey, tax advisors, right, is one of the ones we've used. Hey, medical spa clinics, or what do we use? Health and private pay medical clinics, right? That's one of our calls. It's like you're just grabbing attention from that person. With indirect, what we'll see is we kind of like we dance around it a little bit, but the things that we say are going to grab their attention because it's assumed that they know what those things are. This, we're just coming out and saying, like, yo, if you're this person, listen up. That's like one of our best hooks is, hey, listen up. If you're a coach or consultant or agency, slaps every single time. So then number 2 is you state your offer, right? So we will do X, Y, and Z for you. One of our best ones that still works to this day that we've running for years, we will place you with a proven salesperson, right? We will place you with a proven appointment setter. We're literally in the first 2 seconds saying, coaches and agencies, we will place you with an appointment setter. Like that is our ad. It might sound like the most basic thing ever, but I want you guys to actually, this is something we've been talking about in our marketing meetings a lot, especially now, right, with organic content and reels and just everyone trying to be creative, is that's the thing. Everyone is trying to be way too creative when you just need to be direct in what you're trying to do, especially depending on the market, right? Like, again, kind of taking this story to the next level is we were on this meeting literally at the time of recording this yesterday, and we were talking about how like one of our copywriters was kind of making fun of one of the ads that our CMO Spencer had made, and he was like, yeah, this is like not that, or like he was kind of making a joke. His name's David, and he was like, yeah, this doesn't really have like a lot of pop. And then we were just like joking. We're like, what if we ran this and it just was just like one of our best performing ads? And literally we started running it, most basic, dumbed down, just direct ad that we've made over the last like 6 or 12 months. And it's just doing like probably one of the best MQL costs, or marketing qualified lead costs, that we've gotten in a very long time. And it's because it just gone so straightforward and direct. So the point of saying that and kind of coming back after this digression is this might seem super simple, but the simple, a lot of times, depending on the market, is going to work very, very well. So pillar number 3, right? Add your guarantee. If they don't perform in the next 30 days, you don't pay. Or, in 30 days, you don't pay. And then literally we just go and show like big names. So for us, we say, like if I'm running through the ad, it's like coaches and agencies, we'll place you with a proven appointment setter. And if they don't perform to where you completely ROI your investment with us, you don't pay. Why does this work? It's because we've partnered with some of the biggest brands: Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Cardone Ventures, Pete Vargas, Todd Brown, Jeff Lerner, Tana Chister, Alaire Keck, Clients and Community, among 4,000 other companies, right? So it's like we're literally saying, here's the thing, here's our offer for you. If it doesn't work, here's our guarantee. This is why you should listen to us. And then tell them what to do. So if you want to figure out exactly how this will work for you, go and click the button down below, book a call. We'll see you on the inside. That is literally, this is a specific ad that we've used that has generated, at this point, probably over $100 million. Like it's just so basic that it works, right? And this is going to be very similar for any B2C ad. Just think about that as your pillar, right? And this is just to kind of to bring that home, right? The only thing that's missing in here, this image, I realized, did not. You got to have this in here, right? So you call out your person, coaches and agencies, state your offer, we'll place you with a proven appointment setter or a salesperson, right? Add your guarantee, give them a little bit of credibility, and then tell them what to do. So they're going from scroll all the way down to booking a call or whatever the end result is for you within your funnel. All right, so the beauty of these direct ads is they're honest, they're clear, and if someone responds, they're already pretty interested in buying, right? There's a lot of times, like if you were saying, hey, we are going to do this thing for you, their interest level is much higher than like kind of like keeping it a secret, as we'll talk about here in the next one, the indirect ads, is because they are more indirect, they are just going to generally bring a much lower intent type person because you're having them having to jump through a bunch more hoops. So let's go to the indirect funnel, right? So the indirect method here is we'll call it the curiosity machine. So indirect ads are like being a master storyteller, right? You're not selling the product in this ad like you are in the direct, right? In the direct, you're just like, hey, here's our thing, here's our product. In the indirect is what you're doing is you're basically selling them on the next step. So the next step a lot of times is either going to be to watch a webinar, right? It's to watch a VSL, it's to book a call. Usually you're going to be a little bit more on these sides because, remember, when you're being more indirect, you're keeping everything a secret within the ad itself. And then you're selling the solution or them learning what that solution is on a webinar or on a VSL, right? Again, I'll use RCA for an example, is we would say, this one forgotten about skill has helped generate X amount of dollars. It's not this, it's not this, it's not this. If you want to learn a little bit more about how we actually use this skill to make X amount of dollars, click the video somewhere around the page and it'll bring you to another page where you can actually watch a video about what the skill is and exactly how to utilize it for your business to make X amount of dollars, right? So it's like they're going to that next step, right? The webinar or VSL to learn whatever that thing is as you're being indirect. So here we go. So here's the formula of what you're going to follow. So step number 1 is going to be your hook, right? This is the first 3 to 5 seconds of your ad that is going to start with curiosity. So in this specific example, what we're selling is going to be, let's say I'm selling someone on my content. Let me just see. Yep. So content offer, because I have 2 different examples. So I just wanted to make sure and clarify. So let's just say I'm trying to sell a content offer. So as you can see, I'm not starting off and saying, hey, I will make you some content. But I'm saying doing this one single thing tripled my business. So immediately the audience is like, oh, what was that thing, right? I need to keep watching the ad to figure out exactly what it is. But we don't reveal it right away, right? What we say is jumping into number 2 is the dagger. So I did not create this. Cole created this, and I think Ammon, one of our head account managers, actually went deeper onto this. But basically what that means is literally just like pooping on everything else that's out there that they could do the same thing. So it's like doing this one thing tripled my business, and it wasn't running Facebook ads or building more funnels or even doing hundreds of cold calls, right? So what you're doing is the way you want to think about it is you throw daggers at everything else that they could assume that it is. So it's like doing this one thing triple my business, and you're going to take everything that they would assume it to be and just say, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this, because what you're trying to do is in their brain tell them that it's not these things that they assume it to be, and it's not these things that they possibly have tried in the past, right? So when we can do that, we now like lower their guard because like, well, I don't even know what this thing is. And I've actually tried these things. So like, hey, I tried those things. I didn't have a good experience. Maybe this one thing is finally the thing that I need, right? But really in copywriting, what is the rule of copywriting? So the rule of copywriting is literally just to get them to read the next line and the next line. So what this is doing is doing this one thing, trouble my business. Okay, curiosity. And it's not this, or this, right? So it's then selling them, well, now I need to know what it is, right? And then you introduce your unique method. Now, I'm making this much more simple. There might be some like little like, what's the word? Like transition phrases and things like that. But again, I'm just keeping it simple what it would be. Is you then introduce your unique method. So then it's called the revolving organic system, right? And then you add some proof. So this is the same method I use to generate $50,000 per month with less than 1,000 subscribers, and how I grew Cole Gordon's channel to $100,000 per month. So if you want to learn exactly what the revolving organic system is and how you could use it to implement to generate more calls and more sales for your business, then what I want you to do is click the link down below this video, and we'll see you on the inside, right? So you see what I'm saying? So what I'm doing here is I've never and even to be honest, I might not even use the word organic because what I'm trying to do within this ad, keep it very indirect, and keep it a secret to what this thing is so that I can get them on a call, and then I can do what I need to on the sales call, right? Discovery to figure out current situation, desired situation, pain point, what they've tried in the past, cost of inaction, like do all the things in a sales call. But I'm just going to keep this thing a secret because, again, what I'm trying to do is alleviate alleviate could work, is I'm trying to keep them away from what they think it is, and then sell them not necessarily on my product itself, but sell that my product is going to be the thing that actually helps them achieve their goal. And of course, I can't really do that unless I'm on a sales call with them. So if we're doing a full run through, this is what it would sound like. It would say, doing this one thing tripled my business. And it wasn't running more in Facebook ads, building more funnels, or even doing hundreds of sales calls. What I was able to do is using this thing called the revolving, and I won't say organic, but like a revolving, distribution system. And this is the exact same method that I use to generate $50,000 per month with less than 1,000 subscribers, and how I grew Cole Gordon's channel to $100,000 per month. If you want to learn exactly what this process is and how you can use it to generate more sales calls and make more money from your videos and from your ads, click the button down below this video, fill out the application, book a call. We'll see you on the inside. That is an indirect ad. Because again, they now have this big question mark of like, what is this thing? I need to learn what it is. And now I need to jump on a call. Now, the reason that I mentioned this up here before is the one thing you have to be kind of careful about, and again, we'll talk about like the best of both worlds thing here in a second, is you don't want to like, if it sounds too good to be true, or it sounds like too woo-woo, and you don't actually give them like what they're there for, and sell them kind of like on that payoff at the end, then they might feel a little bit hoodwinked, for the lack of a better word. So that's why it works really well when you do it with like a webinar or a VSL, because you then sell them that video to then learn what this thing is. And then through that video, you actually sell them more on that specific method itself. So just keep that in mind as you're doing it. A lot of times this is going to be when you lead them into some sort of webinar or VSL YouTube video to like sell them more on that product. But this is the idea, right? Think of it as like kind of coming soon. You're in a movie theater. You start off, right? It's this secret thing, doing this one thing, triple my business. It's not this, it's not that, it's not the other thing. It's actually this one other thing that I found. I don't know what ChatGPT did there. Loves its text. It wasn't actually this thing, but it was this other thing that allows me to do blah, 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 blah. I've worked with this person, this person, this person, and it's allowed them to achieve desired outcome. If you want to learn more, click the button down below. Right. That's basically the idea there. So again, it's like a good movie trailer. You just show them enough to create curiosity, but not enough to actually satisfy that. They have to click the button to see what happens next, right? So imagine you go to your, like any piece of content, right? It's like you want that payoff. So in order to get the payoff, they need to watch the VSL, watch the webinar, book a call with you there towards the end. So back to what we talked about at the beginning, this right here is the secret combo that actually doubles the results. So before we do that, just to kind of recap on these two things. Indirect, usually B2C, direct, usually B2B. With direct, you're getting straight to the point. You're getting straight to the offer. This is what I can do for you. With B2C, you're keeping it a little bit more of a secret. You're building that curiosity, and you're going to sell them either on the webinar, the VSL, or on whatever that next step is by keeping all of that a secret. So this is the best of both worlds. It really just gives you the ability to really have ads go for a very long time. So there's this one specific angle, and if you've seen any of our ads, you've probably seen this, but there's this, we call it 13 fancy ways. And literally what it is the definition of what we're going to talk about here, which is the indirect hook plus the direct offer. And literally what it is we're saying, like the body of the ad, right? The directness of the ad is we're going to place an appointment setter into your business or you don't pay. Basically what we talked about earlier in the video. But the indirect hook is we start the video, instead of saying, hey, we'll do this for you, is we say, hey, so there are 13 fancy ways that you can generate high ticket clients in 2025. You can do things like challenges, VSLs, webinars, and I list out 13 different ways that you can do that. But then I say, okay, so here's, one proven but boring and unsexy way to generate new clients in 2020, whatever year, right? 2020, I think at the time, 2023 is what it was. And that ad has literally been running, like some sort of variation of that ad has been running since 2023. And the only things that we were changing is the indirect, is the hook of this ad. So the reason it's a power move is because it allows you to take this and just run it into the ground. That's what we call it. Because you just switch out the indirect hook at the beginning if you found a direct offer that works. Let's really talk about this. So again, you start with the indirect hook, you grab the attention with that hook, and then you transition into more of a direct offer to go in and close the deal. And when I say close the deal, it's more to book a call or whatever the next action step is, right? So again, you get the engagement of the indirect with the clarity of the direct offer, and it's the best of both worlds. This also allows you to get way more out of your current ads because you just keep switching out the hook. I'll make another video on this, probably the next one actually, of how we really duplicate the crap out of our ads and just, are able to run these for years and years and years, is because we just switch out the first hook there. So this is really the way that you would look at it. And I have these two boxes because this is the direct part, or I'm sorry, this is the indirect, indirect, and then it goes into the direct script. So think of it as, again, we're taking both that we did, right? This is still with the same content offer. So we start with curiosity. So it's like, I cannot believe more people aren't doing this right now to grow their business. So sparks curiosity. And again, where we're throwing the daggers. So I cannot believe more people aren't doing this to grow my business. And no, I'm not talking about funnels or cold calls. I'm actually talking about building out an actual content engine that generates new clients on a monthly basis. And then we're introducing our specific method by calling it, we're creating this content engine. And then we go to the direct. So what we're going to do, and I didn't change it on this one, but what we're going to do is we're going to come into your business. We're going to create this content engine, give you X amount of days of content. And if you don't book X amount of calls in X amount of time, you don't pay for it. And now, so you know that it works, is we've worked with this person, we worked with that person, blah, blah, blah. And if you want to learn exactly how we can install this content engine for you, go ahead and click the button down below this video and enter information. We'll see you on the inside. So in theory, what you would do, if I was to take this and you duplicate this over and over and over again, is what I would do is I would just take this first indirect piece up here, right? I would take this and I would just create, 100 different variations of whatever this hook is, right? And when I say hook, I'm not even saying do you need to redo this entire thing? Not necessarily. You can literally just redo this first part. I wouldn't say skip the daggers part, but a lot of times you could just recreate this first sentence, go into the solution being this, and then go into direct. That's like earlier where I was talking about the directness of our ad, is what we did is the only thing that we changed at the beginning was if you're not doing this within your coaching business, there's two things that you can do to generate more results. Number one is hire an appointment setter. Number two, so it's literally the first couple of seconds that you can use and tie that directly into the direct ad. And a lot of times you just run these ads to the ground and it becomes really, really simple for you to do that. So what we're going to do next is, now that you understand, the directness and indirect, I'm actually going to share my screen on my computer, and we're going to go through two different scripts that we're actually going to build out, and then I'm going to do them live so you can see just the example of the direct versus indirect for two different offers. So let's jump over to my screen now. Okay, so the way we're going to break this down is we have two different offers. So we have a B2B style offer and we have a B2C style offer, but I'm going to write a direct and an indirect ad for both. So you can kind of see, you can write a direct and indirect for both, keep the same kind of overarching theme, but it changes in which, the type of audience that it would resonate the most with. So let's go through these. So first off, I have the finance offer, and then my biz op offer, my B2C offer is basically sports cards, right? Selling sports cards and flipping those. So I'm just going to read through and kind of give you an example of these, and then I'll just perform these live. And I think maybe you guys will enjoy that, and you'll see me maybe mess up a couple times. Okay, so this is going to starts off, right? Coaches and consultants. So we're grabbing attention. We will do this for you, right? So we'll save you $15,000 in your taxes this year, or you don't pay a dime. So this is exactly what we guarantee what we're going to do for you. And then we just break down a couple different steps. So step number one, we're going to do this for you. Step number two, we're going to do this. Step number three, we're going to do this. And then we lead with our guarantee, right? We guarantee to save you at least $15,000 on your taxes, or the service is completely free, right? So we're stating what we're going to do, why they should trust us. And then we say, okay, so why can we make such a bold promise, right? Look at our track record. So this is who we've worked with, right? So we work with this amount of people, this amount of people. Again, this is a made up ad. This is not a live ad or anything like that. I'm just making this as an example for you guys. So if you want to keep more in of your hard-earned revenue, instead of sending it to the IRS, click this ad and book a call with our team. So again, we're doing CTA. We'll show you exactly how this is. Remember, we're only going to get paid. So basically we're doubling down on the guarantee. And I'm not going word for word just because you guys can kind of pause it and read it if you need to. And then also I'm going to do this live in a second. So we'll go through every single word as I do it on the teleprompter. But I'm just going through and breaking down. This is the structure that we talked about. This is how it's translating into this specific ad. So let's jump into the indirect. So what is the best expense most coaches never see coming, or biggest expense that most coaches never see coming? So again, indirect, we're starting with this problem, right? What is the biggest expense that most coaches never see coming, right? And then we're throwing daggers, right? It's not Facebook ads, it's not software, it's not even hiring team members. It's the tax bill that hits them every April, and most are paying 40 to 60% more than they legally have to. So again, this video is not around the actual copywriting. This is more around, the ideas of the indirect versus direct. But, just to point it out, right, this is just going over and doubling down on like the pain points, right? Most are paying way more than they need to. So here's what it's not, right? It's not, and this is the kind of version 2 of the daggers. So we're saying, this is not the biggest expense. And then we're also saying, what it's not, right? So it's not using basic software. What we're doing is basically throwing daggers at what people think, because we've already talked about the tax bill, right? So what we're trying to now do is basically throw daggers at all the things that they would assume a tax person to do, right? So it's not using basic tax software, right? So we're doing little shots fired here. Having just so I can throw this out there, this is what I think about hooks, is what you could do is, if you're a tax person, this is a big thing, right? So it's like, if you're using TurboTax, you are destroying your business, right? Very, very direct, indirect hook, because it's like, wait, hold on, I'm using TurboTax. What am I supposed to be doing, right? So I digress. So it's not using basic software. It's not having a business-friendly accountant or just tracking your expenses better. It's setting aside, and it's not, setting aside 30% like everyone says. So this is, I'm just, my punctuation was just kind of messed up on this. All these leave massive money on the table because they treat your coaching business like a regular W-2 job. But there's so now what we're doing is we're opportunity switching, right? Don't do this instead. It's a completely different approach that most coaches have never heard of. It's called introducing method, right? So here's how it works. And we go over a little bit of how it works, blah, blah, blah. We go through this is what we've implemented. So this is, the result. This is what we implemented for these types of people. So if you want to learn this, could work, click below with our team. We'll break down exactly how it works. And then basically it does another version of the CTA. So you can see that it's much more indirect. So it's just like, hey, here's what we can do this for you. This just starts it with a much more like pain focused, what's the biggest mistake, or what's the biggest expense that coaches are making, and much more indirect. So again, we'll do that here in a bit from a live perspective. So let's go over to the B2C sports card offer. So this is understanding, again, I kind of made this up. We have one client that does something similar to this. They do it for white collar professionals. But basically, let's go through this. So here's our call out. So sports card collectors will help you turn your collection into $5,000 plus profit in the next 90 days, or you don't pay. Right, so this is our call out, and this is our offer, right? So here's exactly what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do for you. We're gonna do one, two, three, right? We're going to guarantee you that you get X, Y, and Z, or you don't pay, or it's completely free. Here's who we've worked with. Here's the results. We'll show you exactly how to do this. Remember, if you don't succeed, we're doubling down on the guarantee. And then, and then we go into to book the call again. So very, very direct, super short, straightforward, to the point. And sometimes you need to do that, right? So that's that. And then indirect. So as you can see, and what you may be seeing as well, is that the indirect ones are much more like we talked about earlier, right? There, you're mastering storytelling. You're showing this, this kind of workaround way of doing it. So you kind of have to have a lot more of an explanation. So what we're gonna do is, how did this guy go from, so again, indirect, how did this guy, and in my head, I'm editing it, right? So I would point on screen and it would be of a successful client. And it's like, so how did this guy turn a $20 garage sale find into $50,000 in just 6 months? Well, it wasn't by selling eBay to low bidders. It wasn't taking cars to local shops. Now, actually, as I'm looking at this would be with the assumption. So to make this better, actually, because what we need to do is we still need to have, like, without this here, right, this card flipper, is we lose the context. And let me actually, what did I do above? Sports card. So how did this sports card collector, right? So the takeaway here, well, number one is you always want to read the copy back. Like, this is how I write copy is I'll write the initial copy, I'll read it back, and then I'll read it back again to see if there's anything that I need to change. I did my first initial 2 run-throughs, and I don't know why I didn't catch that, but I think as I'm going through each of these, I did catch it. But what you want to do with this hook, even though it's an indirect hook, what you want to do is still call out subliminally, kind of. Maybe that's not the right way to put it, but you're calling out the person subliminally, because basically what's happening is you're still doing a call out, but you're not specifically saying like coaches and agencies, right? But by the sheer nature, if I'm using our 13 fancy ways, is the hook is here are 13 fancy ways to generate high ticket clients in 2025. So just by the sheer nature of saying high ticket clients is I'm appealing to the audience of, of a B2B audience or our audience of coaches and consultants and agencies. So it's like, it's more of an implied audience call out than it is a direct audience call out, right? So it's a more indirect call out if we're using the same verbiage, more indirect call out. So here, as you can see, as I'm saying, how did this sports card collector turn $20 into blah, 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 right? So it's like, we're still being, we're being indirect with our method, but we're being a little bit more direct, still indirect, but a little bit more direct. If we had like a spectrum, right? It's like direct, indirect, right in the middle. That's what this hook is. So how did the sports card collector turn $20 garage sale fine into the $50,000 in just 6 months? Well, it wasn't by selling on eBay to low ballers, right? We're throwing daggers at these things, right? It wasn't taking cards at local shops. It wasn't using these card value apps. It wasn't following mainstream collective advice. All of those methods leave massive amounts of money on the table, and they treat because they treat every card the same way. So we're saying don't do these things. That's why you shouldn't. This is the reason that you shouldn't do that. But there's a completely different approach, right? Opportunity switch. It's called introduce unique mechanism. The way that it works is, benefit. You'll be able to get all these amazing things. And by the way, we've helped over, we're going into the credibility aspect here, and we've done it for them. So you want to learn how the strategic card flipping method, right? This is basically just a unique mechanism, could turn your collection into serious cash. Click the button down below this video. We'll show you exactly how this works. Look, you're already passionate about this player's card, so it just sells them a little bit deeper onto that. And then we do one more CTA there towards the end. So as you can see, direct versus indirect for these 2 different offers. What I would do too is just like even take these examples. I'll put these in the actual resource doc as well. So if you haven't gotten the resource doc yet, just go over to Instagram, send me 2 ads on Instagram, and I'll include this in the actual document itself. So you can just copy and paste these and use some of the same structures if you want to. So last part of the video here is I'm going to show you guys how I set everything up on my camera, on my teleprompter, and just give you kind of behind the scenes of me recording these. And then I'll record them, and you guys will see what they look like live and what they would look like for someone that's watching it on Facebook. So let's jump over to that, and we'll get that done. All right, guys, second camera action going on here. So I'm just going to give you a really quick rundown of what my setup looks like in the background. I'll leave a link somewhere on the screen or down below this video that will bring you to my entire like equipment list video. I go through like the actual, like, here's the exact camera, here's the exact teleprompter, here's my mic, all that kind of stuff. So you can watch the video. I'll put it again on screen or down in the description. And so I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of what this looks like. So essentially, I have one laptop here, which feeds my script into the teleprompter. So that's there, and I can actually record, or I can control it on my other computer. So I'm just looking directly into the camera there. The camera, really quickly, it's a Sony FX30. And then on this side, I actually have, this is recording the camera portion of it. So as you can see there, I'm talking there. So you'll just see I'm looking directly at the camera, and I'm recording directly to my computer. So again, the video that you guys can check out is down in the description. And essentially, what I'm going to be doing is actually just go directly. I'm not going to like record them and then you guys see the edited version. I'm just going to splice directly to the edited versions of the video, but make sure you stay to the end, because I'm just going to give some takeaways after I record them, so that you just like have an idea of, just have an idea of how you can get the best quality videos back. Because I'll talk about how like send it to the editors and things like that, but just giving you an idea. Stay to the end, because I have something special for you guys. Coaches, agencies, and consultants will save you $15,000 in your taxes this year, or you don't pay a dime. So here's exactly what we guarantee. Number one is we'll find every legal deduction you're missing right now. You see, most coaches are leaving thousands of dollars on the table because they don't know about the home office deduction, equipment write-offs, and business travel rules that apply specifically to online coaches. And number two is we'll set up your business structure for maximum savings, whether you're set up as an S Corp election, LLC organization, or quarterly payment strategy. We'll get it done for you to keep more of what you earn. And then number three, we'll handle everything so that you can focus on actually coaching your clients and getting you more results. No more shoebox of receipts or staying up late with tax software. We'll manage it all year round, and we guarantee we'll save you at least $15,000 in your taxes, or our service is completely free. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why can we make such a bold promise like this? Well, it's simple. Just look at our track record. We've worked with people like Amy and James and over 300 other 6- and 7-figure coaching businesses, saving them an average of $23,000 per year in taxes that they were overpaying. So if you want to keep more of your hard-earned revenue instead of sending it back to the IRS, then click this ad, book a call with our team, and we'll show you exactly how you could be saving. And if it makes sense, obviously we'll work together. We'll guarantee those savings starting this next tax year. And remember, we only get paid when you save money, so we have zero incentive to work with you unless we are 100% confident that we can actually deliver you results. So again, that being said, click the link somewhere on this page and we'll see you on the inside. So what is the biggest expense most coaches never see coming? Well, it's not Facebook ads, it's not software, it's not even hiring team members. It's actually the tax bill that hits them every single April, and most are paying 40 to 60% more than they legally even have to. Now, here's the thing. You're not gonna be able to make that money back by using basic tax software like TurboTax, or having a business-friendly accountant, or just tracking your expenses, or even setting aside 30% like everyone else says. All those things leave massive amounts of money on the table because they treat your coaching business like a regular W-2 job. But there's a completely different approach that most coaches have never even heard of. It's called strategic tax architecture, and here's exactly how it works. Instead of just filing taxes once a year, we build your entire business structure around legal tax optimization. We're talking about S Corp elections, strategic business purchases, family employment strategies, and dozens of coach-specific deductions that most CPAs just don't even know exist. And the result? Our coaching clients typically save $15,000 to $50,000 per year in taxes they were overpaying. And by the way, we've actually helped over 4,000 coaches implement this exact system, including people that you might recognize like Amy and James that you see on screen right now. Also, here's a couple other examples. Sarah went from paying $47,000 in taxes to just $22,000, saving $25,000 in 1 year. And also Mike actually reduced his tax bill from $63,000 to $31,000, keeping an extra $32,000, and thousands of others just like that. So if you want to learn exactly how strategic tax architecture could work for your coaching business, go ahead and click the link somewhere around the page and book a call with our team. We'll break down exactly how you could be saving and show you the specific strategies that would apply for your situation. And look, you've already been working hard to build your coaching business anyway. You shouldn't have to send more money to the IRS than you legally owe. So last time here, click the link somewhere on this page and we'll see you on the inside. Okay guys, so those were the tax ones. I want you to just, again, look at, but maybe watch them back and just see the delivery and how different they are. Again, the first one, just more straightforward, direct, to be honest. For the first one, if I was to actually run that, I would probably make it even shorter. It did seem a little bit longer. But again, there's the way that I look at it is you can always make an ad really long, and then you can like edit it down if you need to, cut out different parts that get a little bit too specific. So let's jump into the B2C sports card offer. Sports card collectors will help you turn your collection into $5,000 in profit in the next 90 days, or you don't pay. So here's exactly what we're going to do for you. Number one is we'll show you which cards are actually worth money. You see, most collectors are sitting on gold mines of cards but don't know it. We'll actually teach you how to identify the hidden gems in your collection that could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Number two is we'll teach you where and how to sell for maximum profit. So forget about eBay or any of those other sites. We'll actually show you the insider markets where serious collectors pay top dollar for the right cards. And then number three, we'll give you our proven grading and pricing system. So this will show you exactly how to know how to grade your cards, which grading company to use, and how to price everything for quick quick sales at maximum profit. And again, we guarantee you'll make at least $5,000 in profit from your collection in the next 90 days, or you pay literally nothing. And you're probably asking, why can we be so bold about this promise? It's because our students have generated over $2.3 million in sports card sales using our exact systems. We've helped collectors like Tom, who found a 1986 Fleer Jordan rookie in his dad's collection and sold it for $18,000. Sarah, who turned her son's Pokemon cards into $12,000 in 6 months. She asked permission, of course. And Mike, who's now making $3,000 per month flipping cards part-time. So if you want to turn your sports cards into serious cash, go ahead and click the ad somewhere on this page and get instant access to our card profit blueprint. We'll show you exactly what cards to look for, where to sell them, and how to maximize every single sale, guaranteed to put at least $5,000 in your pocket in the next 90 days. Now remember, we only succeed when you succeed, so we're only invested into the people that we actually know we can help. So click the link somewhere on the page and we'll see you on the inside. So how did this card collector turn a $20 garage sale fine into $50,000 in just 6 months? Well, it wasn't by selling on eBay or taking cards to local card shops or using these card value apps. With all those methods, they leave massive amounts of money on the table because they just treat every card the exact same way. But there's a completely different approach that most collectors just have never heard of. It's called the strategic card flipping method, and here's exactly how it works. So instead of just collecting cards and hoping that they go up in value, you learn to think like a card dealer. You identify undervalued cards before everyone else catches on, you buy them strategically, and then you sell them at the right buyers at the right time. We're talking about finding rookie cards before players break out, spotting printing errors that make cards worth $10,000 more, and knowing which vintage cards are about to explode in value. The result? Our students regularly turning $100 investments into $1,000 plus profits, and having some of these people able to quit their jobs within just a first couple of weeks. And by the way, we've helped over 500 collectors implement this exact same system into their processes. So here's just a couple other examples. Tom, he bought a 1986 Fleer Jordan rookie at a garage sale for $20, sold it for $20,000 after getting it graded. Sarah discovered her son's old Pokemon cards were worth $12,000, sold them in 6 months after using our system, and Mike now makes $3,000 per month flipping cards part-time while keeping his day job, and again, hundreds and hundreds of other people. So if you want to learn exactly how this strategic card flipping system works and could turn your collection into serious cash, go ahead and click the link somewhere on this page to get access to our card profit blueprint after chatting with someone from our team. We'll show you exactly how to set up this entire system for you and your collection as well. Again, click the link somewhere on the page and we'll see you on the inside. So then we have it, guys, direct versus indirect. We have the two tax ads, the two card collecting ads. A couple takeaways for you guys from that is obviously, like, I don't know really anything about either of those industries. Very, very high level stuff. So you can probably see that in my like actual delivery of the ads. But when you write your ads, like, they're going to be a lot more like, you'll know exactly what you're talking about. You'll have different analogies and stories and things like that. So, hopefully that was helpful just to be able to see kind of beginning to end there. And I mean, realistically, I wrote those ads, a little bit of help ChatGPT using some of the same structures that I taught you in this video. I wrote them in maybe 30 minutes and recorded them in about 30 minutes as well. So we're talking about being able to get ads written and out there and recorded in a 30-minute period if you just follow the things that I talked about. So hopefully this video is helpful. Again, you can DM me the words 2 ads over on Instagram at Aaron Makes Content if you want the entire document here. And also you can click the link on screen right now. The next video is going to be all around how we actually take these raw files, hand them off to editors, how we direct them on exactly how to get the results that you want, duplicate the ads out, and get a ton of different variations from these ads specifically. So click the link on screen. Also, you can click the link down in the description if you want my direct help with this, and we'll see you on the next one. Talk soon. Peace.